But I do want to move on to the next topic. We're going to talk about the new judge. The new judge name is Chitty. Some people say almost like the SHIT word, but it's Chitty, SHITTY. So I'm going to bring him up. We're going to go over to Class E News, man, who always does great commentary, great information. He's another one to go over and watch if you want details. If you want details and facts, great place to go. So we're going to play what he has to say, and then I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about this judge. So here we go.
Has been removed. He's been recused from proceeding on any post-trial hearing when it comes to Carmelo Anthony. Now, Carmelo Anthony's already been sentenced. I misspoke in the last video. I said the only thing left was sentencing. We know that man has been sentenced to 35 years, potentially could serve half of that. I mean, potentially could serve all of it. We'll have to wait and see. So now we're trying to figure out, and we're going to hear what is going to happen with this new trial. Currently, as we speak, and as we're recording this video, his attorney, Russell Wilson, and the entire team is working on presenting why they believe Carmelo Anthony should get a new trial. And the judge that is hearing that is obviously not Judge Roach. And we're going to talk about the judge here who is also looking to retire as well. So check this out. Let's talk about the new judge, and then I'll give you guys some update on what's going on inside the courtroom. We have a new judge assigned, and Amy posted about this over on X. If you guys don't follow Amy on X, make sure you do that to stay up to date on the latest news that we cover here on the channel and beyond. And she says this: Judge John Roach has officially been removed from all further proceedings in the Carmelo Anthony case. Following the recusal hearing, retired Kaufman County Judge Michael B. Chitty has been tapped to preside over Thursday's motion for a new trial hearing. Now, Chitty has spent more than 16 years on the bench in Kaufman County's 422nd District Court prior to his retirement in 2020. Now, the defense team's successful motion to recuse Roach focused on post-verdict televised interview with WFAA, during which he publicly stated that the jury got it right. He should have kept his mouth shut, or at least waited until the court proceedings were done in this case. I don't understand what the benefit of the judge doing that interview was, and several people in the legal community thought it was very strange that he chose to do that. But now, what's going to happen next is the statement became Exhibit A from Judge John Roach in a demonstration of why a reasonable observer might question his ongoing impartiality. Now, attention now shifts to today's hearing, where Judge Chitty will hear formal arguments on whether Carmelo Anthony will be granted a new trial. And according to reports from inside the courtroom, that is actually going on right now. JD Miles has done a great job reporting on this, so make sure you guys show him some support over on X as well. He says a Collin County courtroom is filling up, where a new judge will preside over the hearing to determine whether convicted murderer Carmelo Anthony deserves a new trial. He says, I will be providing instant updates throughout the day, and he gives more information here as well. He says, Carmelo Anthony's attorney, Russell Wilson, is presenting his opening statement. 40 exhibits will be presented. Evidence in motion for a new trial do not include some things that have not been made available. Now, the second claim, he says, is the reliance on the argument that the off the record between the prosecutor and the defense attorney. If you're wondering what that is, that was the handshake agreement about what was going to be said and who was going to testify. Now, Carmelo Anthony didn't have any hearings until jury selection. Judge Roach ran what I call a shadow docket, he says, and it was not public at all. And it began almost instantaneously with the indictment of Carmelo Anthony. Now, what also happened was JD Miles says the defense is suggesting that there was a Waller violation during the murder trial, which is a legal error that happens when a judge closes a courtroom or holds a private hearing without properly protecting the defendant's right to a public trial. Now, I think this is a little bit of a stretch. Take that what you will as someone who's not an attorney, but I think the arguments that they're making are going to be tough to say that they need a new trial, all because not only what the jury's decision was in the end, but the way Judge Roach ran the entire trial. Everything was up to par. Everything was done well. He would protected, I believe, the integrity of the trial almost too much, because dang, we could have at least had the audio, and even Judge Roach himself admitted to that. So again, we'll see, and we'll cover and give you guys updates as this trial continues to go on. And we have information about how long the judge has to make a decision. He's going to have until August 24th, which is 4 days away, I believe, before he has to make a decision. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But also, y'all know it wouldn't be a segment about Carmelo Anthony without hearing from Mr. Metcalf. Now, he went back on Fox once we found out that Judge John Roach was recused in this case. And he basically said, listen, this doesn't change anything for me. You know, I still don't have any hatred towards Carmelo Anthony because I understand what was going on in that situation. He said, but it doesn't really change anything. He's guilty. He's going to be in jail. Let's see what he had to say over on Fox.
Dozens of Carmelo supporters, including one man in a full Black Panther uniform. And minutes after the recusal, they broke out in loud cheers.
Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf. Justice for Austin Metcalf.
Now all eyes turn to tomorrow, when we could hear brand new facts and testimony that were not previously made public, as Anthony's defense seeks a retrial. Joining me now, Austin's father, Jeff Metcalf, and criminal defense attorney Todd Shapiro, who was also inside that courtroom today. Todd, Jeff, good to see you both. Thank you.
Good to see you again, Will.
Jeff, let's go inside the courtroom. How did you feel today when you heard that Judge Roach had been recused?
It really didn't faze me. It's just another part of the procedure. It's a normal step. It doesn't change the facts of the case. So to me, I don't care which judge presides over the proceedings, because it doesn't change the facts.
But why, Todd? Why was Judge Roach recused?
Well, I think, Will,
because he couldn't keep his mouth shut.
The judge that was appointed to hear the motion to recuse felt like the interview itself may have given rise to an air of impropriety. It looks like he had already made a judgment. Judge was not going to be impartial throughout the appeals process. And I think in an abundance of caution, at least in my opinion, that the presiding judge decided Roach should be removed from the proceeding going forward because they didn't want another issue to come up on an appeal.
But based upon that 18-minute interview he gave to local news, wherein he said he thought that the jury got it right. He said that, though, because he said he thought the jury based it upon the facts and the jury was properly selected. It did not sound like he was giving his opinion on the verdict, but rather on the process of the trial. So how does that make an impartial judge?
I can answer that. We saw this in the YSL trial when Judge Glanville was going to be recused. Even with everything we saw Judge Glanville did, the way he treated the defense, with him locking up Brian Steele, with him yelling at the defense, with him clearly, okay, I got to be careful what I say, with him clearly showing that he was partial to one side. Let's be honest, guys. Even with all of that, when Judge Krause came out and gave her decision and said, Judge Glanville, you got to go, she said, listen, I still think Judge Glanville could have had a fair trial. I still think he could have presided over this fairly. But looking at the optics, looking at how this may appear to everyone who's involved in this trial and to the public, to preserve the integrity of the justice system, we're going to say, Judge Glanville, you got to go. I'm sorry. I love you, but it just looks bad. And even with all of that, they just got the judge out of there because it was a bad look. So I think if anything, this is probably Judge Chitty setting an example, saying, guys, we got to be careful what we say. We're judges. You can't be out there doing interviews and saying the jury made the right decision. It's just not smart. And we're going to have issues. And obviously we had issues, which is what Will is pointing to. So let's hear what.
So there you have it. I won't play too much of it because I really don't worry about what the father had to say on this case. I feel like that just makes more and more of a character flaw, which we're going to talk about anyway. But that being said, how do you feel initially about the new judge that they brought up before I get? So Rain doesn't even know what I'm going to be giving y'all today about this new judge. I wanted to make sure I did my research. Because one thing I stand very solid on is that if you believe a certain group is against you, we have to stop rooting for the small wins. Let me say that again. If y'all believe a certain group is against us, we have to stop cheering and rooting for the small wins. Like, yeah, he got a recusal. That was just one step. That's still not justice if that's what everybody is shooting for. And we have to be very careful with who they're putting in the place of another person. So with that being said, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Judge Michael Chitty, his background. And he has two notable cases. And a lot of times, shout out to, Nori Clay, she said, but every small win, it counts. But I want you to also understand that sometimes people will dangle a carrot in front of your face and have you out there running and chasing it. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this gentleman, about the things that came up in his background. And it's not that positive, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. So it's not that positive. So I'm gonna read this to you guys, his background, things of that nature, and then the two notable cases that he did have. But again, it is not something that's like gonna bring you like happy thoughts. So let's see here. Let me give y'all the details here. So he's a retired judge. He served in the Kaufman County for nearly 2 decades, where he was a judge for the Texas 422nd District Court before retiring in 2020. regarding notable or controversial cases. The first significant case that he was involved of was against Eric Williams. It was a former justice of the peace. Chitty resided over the case, and it was earlier a theft case against Williams where he was sentenced to probation, and authorities later concluded that Williams' prosecution and conviction fueled a revenge plot in which the prosecutor, Mark Hess, was murked in January 2013. So there was a person, first of all, that Chitty let out and put on probation, who later went out and murdered other people. And that's what he retired on. But he also had another notable case called, it was the Drake Pedro case. 2019, he presided over a hearing in a widely scrutinized case. A 4-year-old boy who was removed from his home following allegations of medical child abuse. At a hearing, Chitty granted a request to keep Drake in custody of the Child Protective Services and issued a gag order that prevented the boy's parents from speaking publicly about the case. Judge Chitty ruling was described by the state senator, Bob Hall, who attended the hearing. This is the state senator talking about an attorney that's sitting behind their desk, hearing as the most egregious display of injustice that he has seen, with Hall saying that CPS had zero evidence that their child case against the family. So there's already character flaws within this new gentleman who's in retirement, who's about to take on this case. He had 2 notable cases. I highly recommend you guys to go read the details. The first one was the Eric Williams case, and the other one was the Drake Pedro case in 2019. When the state senator doesn't believe in somebody that's making outcomes, and then you think about your last case, you let somebody go and they end up taking the life of another person, what is he coming back for? Is he coming back to redeem his name?
Do they not have any other options?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Carmelo got a better team, but now we got a worse judge. This doesn't play into the hands of Carmelo Anthony, in my opinion. That's my opinion. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's with the script say, "Oh my God, no, it does not surprise me. It's Texas."
I'm telling you.
She said racism is taught.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, racism is taught is learned from the parents. And it said facts is all or nothing at this point. Nora said, but it's small, but every small win counts. And she said exactly. I don't know about that now. I said I didn't know this about the new judge. Tisk.
And for everybody who's new here, when it comes to souls, I'm always going to go do research. I'm never taking the word of what news is putting in front of me. I'm never taking the word of, I'm just happy that he's getting a new judge. None of that. Because if you stand on that racism has something to do with this, how can you trust any of them?
Okay.
I've been asking people that every day. I haven't really got a straight answer. Flip the script, and I haven't got a straight answer for that. It's like we pick and choose what white people are good. If y'all really feel that way, y'all got to feel like they all that way. So that's why I always tell people I come with facts, not feelings, not emotions, not past history. I treat people where they are, treat them where they from, how they treat me. With that being said, you won't pull the wool over my eyes, though. Because the first thing I thought about, I was like, was there any other judge that could have did this case?
Yeah, because you're coming out of retirement for one. For two,
yeah.
Why won't they choose another venue? Why won't they choose, hey, out of the county, the next county over?
He said Patsy or us.
The next, so it could be unbiased. Same thing I feel about, I know we're not here to talk about Nolan Wells. I don't think Jackson County should have anything to do with what's going on. I think it should be outside of. outside of the county. That's my thoughts about it. I think it should be another venue outside of Coffee. Is it Coffee? It's called Collin. What is it? What county is it?
Coffin. You're right, Kaufman.
Coffin County. Outside of that county, outside of the jurisdiction, whole new. Of course, they're going to get a whole new jury if they do approve, because you don't know what influence this judge or what influence the past judge may have on this judge. They might be talking on the phone. You don't even know that. They could be on the phone right now. Hey, I got to make this decision on Monday. I need your thoughts and opinions on it. What should I do? Well, this is what I found. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't. Can you trust them?
And everybody's saying one same thing. Judge Roach ran a great case. Everybody's saying that same word, that he ran a great case. She said, correct.
You don't know. They might be having a drink right afterwards this afternoon.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was telling her, I understand. Like, I'm not here to deflate the win. I'm glad he got the recusal. But y'all, we have to still pay attention to who they put in there. Sometimes they just give you what they want to give you. You know what I mean? Miles said, do you think this judge would give him probation? Probably not.
No.
Man, I want to be optimistic.
Yeah.
But I can't say that, man. I think it's one of those things that now Chitty has to sit there, listen to the same thing. And we're going to give y'all more detail because more are going to come out. If he goes back to trial, more is coming out. So we're going to get there in just a second. But if he goes to trial, y'all, it'll be a totally different case because there's new evidence, new leaked text messages. It's getting more muddier. It's not getting better. And I'm going to tell you guys this. Austin's dead. You could say whatever you want about him.
Yeah.
Like, not to be rude, but like, you could talk about the Metcalf family all you want. They lost somebody. The world is not going to really look at it that way. Like, the world is going to look at it like, well, that boy died. What did they got to do with today? Tomato type of thing. Shout out to Ari. Welcome in. It said it's hard to escape their racist system. It is. But Ari, I'm gonna say it. I don't know if this is your first time here. We appreciate you being here. But Souls is all about educating people about the system. Because while we cheering everything on and everybody on the steps with a purple on, and everybody's covering this, people coming from different states, somebody should have been doing a background check on Judge Chitty like I did.
Yeah.
See, we missed the blind spots because we got to win. We ain't won the championship yet. We just won our first playoff game. That's all we did. We got 12 more games to go, but we're celebrating so hard for the first win.
Making that first turn in the marathon. You still can't see the finish line.
Like, this is a marathon. We got to stop cheering. We should be like, that should have happened. Next. Yeah. He should have got a new judge. Next. Like, what's next? Like, we're starting to be cheerleaders instead of having higher expectations for a system that we say is corrupt. Like, we got to start really looking. Like, we got to start paying attention for real. So, Flip the Strip said their attorney was Mark Howard. He did not change the venue. I can't believe the family did not take the same go money to hire a better lawyer. Flip the Strip, man, we covered it last week, but the family agreed to the big behind the back handshake.
Yeah, they agreed to it.
So she said facts was Austin was a bully and not control himself. I agree with you. That's going to come. We're going to talk about it today.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But Flip the Strip, none of that ain't going to matter. It ain't going to matter to the masses. Kai will spend the rest of his life. Okay, we appreciate you, Big Grumpy. Man, you grumpy, man. Get in a better mood. Zen said, hey, Souls and Soft Crew. How you doing? I think you were in there last night. So welcome in. Yeah, welcome in. Miles said it's a first down.
Yeah.
We got 90 more yards to go, y'all, to the touchdown end zone. Lil Penny said, you overhyping it. We won a practice game since life back on the table. Yeah. Eric said yes. Flip the Strip said, if I was walking down the street and was attacked by Austin and his brother, I would have shot. I am a licensed gun owner. Would be my right to do so in the state. Why is this different? I agree.
You know, that's a possibility too, an acquittal for self-defense.
I agree. We're gonna cover some stuff in the next segment though, because everything you're saying, Flip the Strip, makes sense. But I think the group is trying to get ahead of it. They're now trying to tarnish character, and that Howard team allowed this to even happen.
Oh yeah.
I think if we would have got everything on the floor in the first trial, and now we're going into a new trial, we know whatever was in the text messages, we know all this stuff, it would have been made for a different trial. We're about to go into a whole new venture. People don't even know the information that they're about to receive on the other end. So y'all going to hear it here first with me and Rain. We're going to cover it with y'all.